And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday night chill stream. This one is starting at a better time than last week. Slightly less chaotic week, but still, a bunch of things that I'm trying to sort out as to what I want to do with my life and how I want to do those things. But anyway, it's Monday. It's time to do. You got to do a show. You got to talk about stuff. There's always stuff happening, so you do a show. And but I'm whatever. Anyway, I didn't. This another day. I'm actually feeling pretty good, but I didn't do anything today because I did so close to nothing that I might as well have not fucking left. What happened? I'm freezing up, and then the music froze up before too. Boomer Tech is good. Is gonna. I'm not gonna let it upset me. Not gonna let it upset me because what's the point? Anyway, this is sadly another. This is sadly another sobriety stream. So anybody that was hoping I'm getting wasted and rant like a lunatic will have to hope that I just decide to rant like a lunatic sober. You know what I mean? So who knows? That might happen. That might not happen. That might not happen. But what was it? A couple weeks ago, I was talking about that dude, academic agent. I was talking about this guy, right? And he's like some English dude with a posh accent, and he thinks he's real smart. And he's like, the ruling elites don't use violence. And I'm like, yeah, we dropped two giant deceptions on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? That the Soviet secret police deceived people into thinking they were being tossed into a mass grave, after being shot in the back of the head. It didn't really happen. It was just a deception. They convinced you were dead by after shooting you in the back of the head with a 7.62 by what? What was the what does the pistol shoot? 7.62 by whatever. 7.62 caliber bullets they used to use. So it's not. I assure you, it's not just deception. And I beat up on this guy, and apparently this started a flood of, or other people noticed this guy's. I don't listen to this guy's content. I've listened to very, very little over the time. But the dude was apparently he's become a big fan of Papa Joe. And I don't. You're thinking, what, Joe Biden? Really? This guy's a fan of Joe Biden? No, not that Papa Joe. This Papa Joe, the one, the only. Give it up, everybody. Give it up for the one only, the murderous midget, the super killer, the Soviet super killer, Joseph Stalin. Where is it? Come on, Joe. Come on up on the stage. Come on up and say hi to the nice people. Where are you, Papa Joe? Papa Joe taking a sweet ass time, to be honest. Well, to be fair to Stalin, he's been dead for quite some time, so he doesn't move. He's not quite as spry in death as he was in life, although I don't think he was particularly athletic in life. There he is, Joseph Stalin. He took over the Soviet Union in 1926 and ramped up the murder machine to levels that the incompetent homosexual Jews who started the show could never ever have dreamt of. When you finally get a competent mass murderer in there. Anyway, so this guy, Roland Rat, academic agent, whatever, he's like, oh, Stalin was so great and this and that. But I found out not that long ago that Stalin used to be a bank robber. That he started out as a bank robber. He was a criminal. He was a bank robber, and I'm pretty sure that the banks in Tsarist Russia did not have FDIC insurance. So I'm pretty sure when Joseph Stalin went in and robbed the bank, he robbed all your money. And I'm guessing that didn't make the people who kept their money in the bank real happy. So admiring a bank robber is, you know what? It's all in all pretty weak. You know what I mean? It's pretty weak and pathetic. Glorifying somebody who who stole from everyone else. Like to glorify bank robbers. Anyone who does that, you think this you would mock them, right? Like Billy the Kid, or the only bank robber that I'm aware of that was actually did anything noble is this guy, and it actually was kind of noble. Here we go. This guy. If you're going to go admiring bank robbers, you're going to say, you know what? He's my kind of bank robber. This is the kind of guy that I could help out. I could put if this guy was on the lam, I would hide him from the cops. I would help him out because as a bank robber, he's a pretty good guy. Who's this guy? This guy is the one and only Pretty Boy Floyd, Charles Arthur Pretty Boy Floyd. And the difference between Pretty Boy Floyd and Stalin, and the title of tonight's stream being Stalin Ain't Pretty. When Stalin stole your money, he stole your money. And then when he got in charge of things, he, like I said, he ramped up the Soviet murder machine to levels previously thought impossible. But I found out that Pretty Boy Floyd, when he would rob a bank back in those days, back in the 30s, if the bank held the mortgage on your house, the bank actually held the mortgage on your house. And what Pretty Boy Floyd would do when he robbed the bank is he would take all the mortgages. He would take all of the mortgages that were held in the bank safe, and he would burn them. He would burn them, and then you wouldn't have to pay off your mortgage anymore. That's what Pretty Boy Floyd would do. So, Pretty Boy Floyd would rob the bank, but he would compensate you by making sure that your mortgage got burned. You know what I mean? So you didn't have to pay your mortgage. So it was a kind of a unique twist on this guy I didn't know that he had done. Judah Sly Chai, based Persian mission guy. Welcome to the show, sir. So Pretty Boy Floyd, if you're going to lionize criminals, if you're going to put these people up on pedestals and imagine that they're good and noble, and they really, most of them are not, I would say probably none of them are. But and if they do something that's decent and noble, it's probably more by accident than by design, or it's done by design in order to convince you of something. But Pretty Boy Floyd, yes, he would rob your money from your local bank, but he would burn your mortgage. So that would be quite the community service. I'm surprised. I don't know if they took him down like they gunned down Dillinger and what's his name? The other two. Who was the Bonnie and Clyde? He was from that same era. You know what I mean? People struggling, during the Depression, and he would actually do something to help the community he was stealing from. Which I would like to know more about that. Like, how many mortgages did he actually burn? How many people benefited from his bank robbery spree? But Stalin took everything, right? This idea that a guy's going to go in and rob a bank, right? So he's breaking every rule. You know what I mean? I've said it last week. I'll say it again. When there's no system of governance that can survive the predator versus when things go predatory. You know what I mean? There's just no system of governance that can survive that. Civilization exists. It's complex system on top of complex system. Civilization exists by everyone trusting that the others will do what they're supposed to do. And there's these tons and tons of unspoken agreements, and obviously contracts, mortgages, etc., are specifically written agreements. They're specific written agreements as to what's going to be done by what party and what's going to be done by the other party. So when you have somebody who breaks that, they're going to break every other rule. They've broken all the rules to benefit themselves, and they're just going to continue doing that. And that's all Stalin was. You know what I mean? Stalin did that to his benefit, and then he, once he got enough money, he decided to get political, and he realized, hey, you know what? I could steal the whole country. I could take everything an entire nation has, and he did. I mean, he needs a bigger crew and blah 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 blah, but he basically he went to work stealing all the human capital, taking all the labor, emptying the forest, the oil, whatever, all that stuff. So he stayed true to his nature, and to say that these guys are great guys. It's like, listen, I love the movie Goodfellas. I was just watching some scenes from it the other day. I was reminded of something, and it makes the New York gangsters seem like charming and funny and admirable in all sorts of ways, but they're not that way. I've been, when I was in a taxi business in the '90s, I've been close enough to these people. I'm not saying I was close to them but I would be in proximity to these people, and I knew people who knew them. They're not as charming, they're not as funny, they're not as generous and cool as the movies make them out to be. Like no one's the way they are in the movies, but really, those guys are not that way. And so for when all was said and done, this guy, whatever, academic agent, he decides to have a man crush on a bank robber. Yeah, whatever, that's it says more about him than it says about his man crush. But uh, you don't want to do that. Just don't slay your heroes. It's important to slay your heroes. So we got us to man. It's like so much. What is it? What is all this stuff? I can't even. I just sent myself this stuff and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Speaking of bank robberies, this happened in Lebanon. I was tweeting about it with somebody. Oh, speaking of which, I have Twitter follows that I can't see their DMs. You know what I mean? It's most people I can see their DMs, but some people I can't see their DMs, especially if they live in a foreign country. I just see the first two lines of what they send me. It's not usually a whole lot of stuff. It's usually like cat pictures or whatever. Uh, I really, but they'll like send me a link to somebody else's Twitter account, and I'll just get the Twitter account link, and I'll have to scroll it because I don't get to see anything that they send me. Although I'm pretty sure they get to see the stuff I send them. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this guy last week. Dude in Lebanon, did a bank robbery hostage thing because he had $210,000 in a bank. Yeah, I mentioned this, and they wouldn't give him his money. So is this guy a hero? Is he a bum? He's not stealing your money. He just wants his money back, right? So will this, this is a rare real life instance of someone going into a bank with a gun and having both the moral and even the legal right to do that. You know what I mean? I don't know what will happen to him. I don't know what's going to happen to that guy. I guess he'll be charged with kidnapping in Lebanon, but how can you say this guy's in the wrong? You know what I mean? It's his money. He just wants his money back. He doesn't want anybody else's money, just his own. So they're going to make you, do all sorts of things. Where's that? No. Where is this guy? I'm trying to figure out. I missed a bunch of this stuff. This was somebody. This is, other people think like me. They don't have. Don't make fun of the small hats. They don't make fun of the punchers for different reasons. They don't know about them. They don't care. Look at this. I got 6 viewers now. Like huge numbers, and the screen's freezing up. But more and more, these accounts that were like not super political, or so really more political and ideological, are starting to get it a little bit. It's starting to occur to them that what drives all human behavior is money, is some sort of reward, some sort of what produces the best of everything is rewarding people for good behavior. You can produce, a gulag, a murder machine, an open air death camp, by simply threatening people all the time. Threaten them with murder, threaten them with imprisonment, threaten them with whatever. But it doesn't produce any. It produces what good it produces, I should say, is for an extremely small group at the top, and it produces nothing of innovation, nothing, no great engineering, nothing like that. So this guy Gidget says, all I have to do to win is take away everybody's money, and they will. Well, they're certainly going to try. They don't have control over it yet. Like I said, they're years away from a central bank digital currency. They're years and years away. But BlackRock and Goldman Sachs are tied in with Coinbase, and they're going to learn about this crypto thing, and they're going to help the U.S. government create the digital dollar. They're working on it behind the scenes, but they're nowhere near close. Because if they were closer, if they had it, they would do it already. You know what I mean? But they're not there yet. But that's what they want to do. They want to be able to shut off your money at any time to take your life savings and make sure you're not even like that guy in Lebanon. You wouldn't even have a gun to go into the bank to demand your own money back, because there wouldn't even be physical cash to take back. So that's what it looks like, and the glorification of bank robbers may become a thing again. But the people we're up against, this was a lot of people saw this, and everybody knows this guy, Tim Wise. Tim Wise, a fellow white person who, his insane murderous bloodlust behind political ideology. But at the end of the day, he really just wants to kill people. Where's it? Come on, Timmy. Come on, little Timmy. There he is. So he's referencing the Donald Trump supporters, and he calls them maggots. See, MAGA-T, maggots. Any maggot who advocates violence in response to Trump facing justice, meaning that stupid raid. That raid at Mar-a-Lago is probably going to put fucking Trump back in the White House. Should be arrested now. Free speech does not give you the right to advocate violence. And then, of course, in the least self-aware fucking category of the week, arrest them, crush them, make their children functional orphans, end them. He literally says free speech doesn't give you the right to advocate violence, and then he's talking about killing entire families, right? Killing and imprisoning entire families because of what they said online. These guys, like I said, that's someone like this. They hide their insane desire to murder with politics, and it doesn't matter what the fucking politics are. Like, it doesn't matter. You could frame it as the chosen people versus Amalek, the communists versus this or versus it, and it doesn't make, because he just really, really, really wants to kill. Just really wants to kill. However, he's a lot like this guy. This one. If it wasn't really so, it would be funny. This kid, people forget, earlier in June, that kid that they grabbed, he was like a 22-year-old kid or a 19-year-old kid or something, outside Justin Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh's home. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, one of Trump's appointees, who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. But this is like mostly this is what they have to work with. You know what I mean? Man accused of attempting to kill Justice Kavanaugh researched, quote, assassin skills and how to be stealthy. So you're just Googling assassin skills. Like, you could watch a 5-minute YouTube video and start a second career as murder for hire. Job not going well, didn't get the promotion you wanted, struggling to pay those bills at the end of the month. Well, just go to like the Phoenix University assassin skills course, and you could learn to be stealthy and a really quiet assassin. Then you could murder people. These are the people that Tim Wise is talking to, right? Tim Wise, the guy I just showed a moment ago, he's talking to somebody like this much of an NPC, this much of a fucking brain dead, mental case. and hoping that if he writes his tweets or whatever article, I don't know where else, Tim Wise, what other outlets he's allowed to influence people. But yeah, he's hoping that somebody who's going to Google assassin skills is gonna fill his bloodlust. Chris Olton, DeVry University. I passed DeVry University on a regular basis, young man. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart. Welcome to the show. Chris Olton, welcome to the show. We got huge numbers tonight. We got 7 people. 7 people watching. 2 are bots, 3 are feds, and then the others, it's Chris Olton, Virgil Doc, and Judas Fletcher. But that's what they're looking to do. Like this, they don't have, they hate normal people. Guys who could actually have, real assassin skills. They hate them with a passion. It's that beta cope and seed, Well, the alpha dude, into the Marines or whatever, 82nd Airborne and does all that, jump out of an airplane and kill somebody with a rusty spoon shit. Tim Wise can't do that, and he knows those guys will never listen to him. So he's just hoping that Google nerd, takes his mom's credit card, buys a Glock, and kills the people that he doesn't like. Did I pass the assassin course? I've taken assassin courses. I took this. Where's the stuff? I got my stuff. Yeah, I did. Hold on, I got to blow the dust off. Let me talk about Ben Franklin first. Ben Franklin, he's on the $100 bill. I don't know if you know that. This is a quote I've never seen from him before. The refusal of King George to allow the colonies to operate an honest monetary system which freed the common man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. So of all the flaws of the American Revolution, the motivations are the same, right? That people, when it's time to dissolve the bonds that unite men, whatever, the bonds of fellowship or whatever, that line from the founding fathers. Well, what dissolves the bond? The fact that everybody was getting ripped off by the money manipulators. Ben Franklin doesn't say who they were, but we can be pretty sure they were not eating a lot of bacon. You know what I mean? Those money manipulators, we know whom they are, and they were around back then. Some of the first governors and stuff of like Georgia were members of the tribe. So the Rothschilds, having established a banking empire in the 1500s, 1600s, by the late 1700s, 1770s, we know that the small hats have manipulated monarchies from the European monarchies from the year 1000, right? William the Conqueror, owed more money to Jews than probably anyone else. And the bishops owed money and towns owed money and whatever, they all owed money to these guys. So the new colony, of course, they're going to come in and going to try and take over. And, that probably really sparked the revolution more than anything else. Chris Olton in the chat asking me, did I pass the assassin course? Well, it wasn't really a pass-fail, but I have taken the assassin course. I went to, what was that? Hold that up straight. There we go. I went to Gunfighter University, bro. I went to Gunfighter University, that guy, I took that class from the Delta Force guy a couple of years back. So is it an assassin course? It's an anti-assassin course. How to stop people from assassinating you when you're at the supermarket in Yemen. Did a whole show on that. There was artwork. There was where was that? I think was it in here? Was it not in here? Can't even remember. So long ago. So many memories. So many. See, look, right? I had artwork. I had more artwork, pictures, drawings. I had it all. I've been to it. I've passed the assassin class. I got my notebook right here. I think I haven't been to the assassin class. Yes, I should make a YouTube video called "How to Be Stealthy." That is an excellent, excellent idea, Chris Holton. I'll tell you, you're really firing on all eight cylinders today, young man. One of the best ways I would think to be stealthy is give someone a free pair of headphones. You know what I mean? This solves the problem. You don't have to be once they get the headphones in and they're rocking to the headphones. They're like, "Da, da, 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 da." you know, it doesn't matter how much noise you make when you come up behind them because they're listening to what are they listening to? Whatever they listen to, K-pop or something like that. Where I sneak up on Kurt Doolittle. Yeah, Kurt Doolittle. Yeah, he was the first guy the first scalp I ever social media scalp I ever collected. So and probably the biggest. Although he'll never be remembered. You know what I mean? Like, sadly, I don't know. Is there still stuff on him on YouTube? Is that stuff still up? I don't know. I mean, I know my stupid video got taken down, but it's you know yeah, that's good. In terms of just wait till everyone has VR headsets and assassins will have the easiest job on the planet. It's already like that. I mean, essentially staring into a smartphone with your AirPods. AirPods are the same thing, right? I mean, what are AirPods? You don't need giant headphones. I see people with their little with their AirPods like all the time. They hold them in a little packet on their hip as part of their daily kit. The kit of the 21st century digital nomad. Yeah, but there are some of us who are more serious than others. I'm not quite at this level yet, you know what I mean? Because the online course at Assassin University, you can't do distance learning, but understand that Pepe is, in the right legal environment, you know what I mean? Pepe will do what needs to be done. There have been effective kinetic solutions to communism. What's his name? Jonathan Pohl talked about that. It was like a couple of different countries, and I can't remember which ones. But that there was effective kinetic solutions to the communists. The communists now, however, they're trying something new that this is funny because it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. But that's operator Pepe. That's operator Pepe. Where is it? Where is it? Just the one. Just the one. Yeah. Well, here's this will lead me to where I figured it out. I'll figure out the process of elimination. Just what fucking screen share I should be doing next. Just a couple of days ago, the New York Times, they're not happy with us, and that's a good thing. And it's a very, very. When I say us, I'm talking about Bitcoin people. I'm not talking about British academics who fall in love with Joseph Stalin. So the New York Times writes, the crypto market crashed. They're still buying Bitcoin. Hardcore Bitcoin evangelists are making the case that Bitcoin differs from the unstable crypto projects that sent the market into a tailspin. That's right. Toxic Bitcoin maximalism is winning, and they know it. And they know it. The difference between us and everyone else is, of course, we're stakeholders in Bitcoin, right? I've said, how many times I save small amount of wealth I can generate, I save it in Bitcoin. I don't save it in Zogbucks anymore. So, and a lot of other people do the same thing. So if you're trying to protect the wealth you generate from your work, from your business or whatever, and you think that saving your wealth in the form of the Federal Reserve notes is a good idea, then you probably don't belong here. But if you think I'd really like something that the Federal Reserve Bank cannot devalue, cannot debase, the government can't steal from me, well, then you're going to look elsewhere. And the best alternative out there, even though it is volatile, is Bitcoin. And the fact that we won't shut up about it and we won't stop buying it is really making the people who run the New York Times unhappy. And it's the right enemies. It's good to have the right enemies. What is this? I got to see. No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Yes. All right. So just to point out how bad inflation could get, how bad inflation is in other places. And there are a lot of people, that if they tune into the show and they're like, yeah, but it's not that bad here yet. Oh, but it's, the argument is it's not bad yet. They don't even really have an argument. It's not like it isn't bad or you're wrong. They just say it's not that bad yet. And if you think, hey, I've got time, and maybe you do have time, maybe you have a lot of time. There's a lot of off ramps. There's a lot of ways you can get out of this. But this show is, if that's you, this show is not for you. You know what I mean? This is a show for people who don't have a lot of choices. And the sooner you make a smart choice now, that will open up more opportunities in the future. This was from August 6th, last week. Analysts expect Argentina's inflation to reach 90% this year. 90% this year. So analysts polled by Argentina's central bank sharply raised their inflation estimate for 2022 to 90.2%, up 16 points from the previous month. So if you ask them in July, what do you think the inflation rate is going to be? They say 75%. And then a month later, they go, you know what? We think the inflation rate is going to be 90%. And remember, Argentina took a $51 billion payoff from the IMF to discourage the use of Bitcoin. It said cryptocurrencies, but it meant Bitcoin. Now, the IMF paid off the government of Argentina to keep the people of Argentina locked in that open air gulag, and they took the money. You know what I mean? The government's going to take the money that someone can profit by selling you out. They're going to do that. You know what I mean? And why you would continue to participate in a situation like that when you could get out, I don't know. Right? It just seems particularly unwise for people like on the far right who Tim Wise wants you dead. Right? Tim Wise is wants you dead and your kids made into functional orphans. And you're publicly fucking with this guy, criticizing this guy, to stay in their monetary system is just it's not a real high IQ thing. You know what I mean? It's not a real high IQ thing at all. Our friends, the super geniuses from that we import every day, plane load by plane load from Asia, from the subcontinent of Asia, Sri Lanka. This was only a couple of days ago. Sri Lanka's raised electricity prices 264% at midnight. The loss-making Ceylon Electricity Board had requested an 800% increase in electric bills. And so they said if they thought the protests were bad before, wait till the bills arrive next month. So imagine your general inflation up 90%. Oh yeah, and then your electric bill goes from whatever $100 a month to $900 a month. You know what I mean? You'll be out in the street. You know what I mean? You'll be out in the street. This is what drives behavior. It's not a war of ideology. All that ideology, all the fucking politics. That's just shit they plaster on afterwards. You know what I mean? They layer that on afterwards. That's your rationale. But what's gonna drive your behavior is that your salary hasn't gone up at all. Your electric bill has gone up 150%, and people will. The only argument they have is, well, it's not that bad yet. Well, James, yeah, okay, James, that's happening. Well, that's true, but it's not that bad yet. Why are you going to wait until it's that bad? Amongst the so-called dissident right, which doesn't even exist anymore, but the people who fantasize they're in that club, they're Enoch Powell, that English politician from the 50s, has a famous quote saying, government is, governance is like, what is it? The management of foreseeable problems. So can you foresee the problem of the money not working? Can you foresee the problem of hyperinflation? Well, then how will you govern yourself? Because you can't trust others to govern on your behalf. The Argentines can't trust their government. The Lebanese can't trust their banks. You know what I mean? All those, where else are they riding? You know what I mean? All the other places, Bengal, they're riding, all these places, Panama, Colombia, where else? You know what I mean? You can't trust them. So in your life, if, the foreseeable problem is they're going to take your money, right? They're going to make your money worthless, or they won't give you your money when you want it or need it. So that's the foreseeable problem. So how are you going to solve that? If you're at least as smart as Enoch Powell, if you are at least smart enough to absorb the lesson that Enoch Powell was trying to teach the people of England, then you're going to make some different choices. I would think you'd make some different choices. I've seen that already. I can't. Where's my is that? No, they did. I said that. Already. Misery bank child. I don't want to see that either. There was a screenshot I had of. Fuck. Where did it go? Pretty boy. Stand by. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with this. Yeah, this is, well, okay. I finally found it. I only passed it like 7 fucking times scrolling back and forth. So toxic Bitcoin maximalism, right? They can't stop us. They're not going to stop us. The shitcoin fucking casino, they really don't like us. It isn't just the New York Times, but there are others who really don't like us. And this has popped up in a bunch of different places. And it'll be really interesting once you see the imagery that they've chosen to use. Okay? It's called anti-maximalist action, right? Because Bitcoin maximalists, that's what we're referred to as toxic Bitcoin maximalists. Well, there just happens to be an online group called the Anti-Ma, or anti-maximalists, right? Really interesting choice of symbolism that they picked, huh? So who do you think these people, this group that adopted the anti-fascist slogan, the anti-fascist imagery from the 1930s, all of a sudden now they're anti-maximalist or anti-Ma. They think, and you see on the flag it says Bitcoin is shit, or Bitcoin is, so they hate us because they think, we're a threat to them, and we most certainly are. Having an alternative system of value that is outside the control of the central bankers is way more dangerous and way more powerful if it succeeds than any one of your crap ideologies. The reason why I tell people your ideology sucks and no one gives a fuck is because your ideology does suck and nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody fucking cares. At the end of the day, people, they need to do some kind of work, right? They need to feel useful. They want to feel useful, and they want to receive something of value for their fucking labor. You know what I mean? They don't want their life to be fucking robbed. They want to be able to have their little house, their fucking dog and their kids and their wife and all the rest of that. You know, that's the overwhelming majority of people, and that there's a group of parasites of different fucking team monarchy, team democracy, team authoritarianism. It's all different fucking names of the same parasites. They do nothing or next to fucking nothing, and when they screw it up, they like really super screw it up. And you know, for you to believe anything that these guys tell you, like really thinking that, really thinking like, you know, that the Yankees are better than the Mets, or that the Dallas Cowboys are better than the Green Bay Packers, or I don't know. You can make whatever analogy you want, but the analogy of like sports ball mercenaries, you know what I mean? That the New York Knicks are better than the Los Angeles Lakers. Listen, they're in it for the money. They're in it for them. They're not really in it for you. Then you show up and you cheer or you yell or you wave the flag or you wear their fucking logoed clothing. Trump 2024, you know, Biden Harris. What the fucking? You're just, you know what I mean? You're a fucking NPC. So, and you know, oh, I'm on team authoritarian governance. I can't wait for Rice and Beans Hitler to come and save America. Yeah, well, you're going to be waiting a really fucking long time, like a really long time, because that's not happening. You know, even back then, both Mussolini and Hitler understood that the power that the small hats had in the United States, and yet, you know, whatever the pre or the post Weimar economic system was, which essentially was what, interest-free lending, right? You borrowed money, you just paid back that amount of money, you know, without interest. That idea alone was so powerful and such an enormous threat to the empire of the central bankers, that, you know, the people who stumbled into it by accident, because they stumbled into it by accident, you know, are going to be reviled until the end of time if the central bankers have their way. But there are people, and this woman is amongst them. I saw this. This was a tweet from Ramsey Paul. Great fucking tweet, and it points out how some people are absolute fucking walking misery cases, and you should avoid them like the plague. But they have Booba, and the power of the Milkies is a very, very real. The power of Milkies is very real. Is extremely real. So the tweets from, when's it from? August 14th, just the other day. Be Tom Brady, handsome, celebrity, be worth $400 million, and your wife is still not happy. And that's such a great photo. Like, so she's like dressing him down, right? Pointing up at him. He's probably like a foot taller than her, right? Like he's a fucking child, sticking her finger in his fucking face. And then the bold dude in the background, like he can't believe what he's seeing. He can't process that the greatest quarterback in NFL history, maybe ever, is being spoken to like he's a fucking 5-year-old child, you know? And this guy has provided this woman with a lifestyle that literally, you know, 0.0000001% of the fucking planet will ever have. She married a man that's worth $400 million, and she's still fucking miserable. So you can make yourself miserable even with all the wealth in the fucking world. You know what I mean? Tom Brady couldn't notice that she was a miserable bitch when he married her, but you know, he was blinded by the Milkies. You know what I mean? Once you get, you know, once you convince yourself that that's your girl for whatever reason, you know, you've made the decision based on what you believe to be true, not what's actually true. And this woman, she herself, she's decided to be miserable with $400 million in the bank. Can you imagine? I mean, everyone, like, there's 5 people watching right now. Imagine you have $400 million in the bank, right? You're $400 million. You can go anywhere, anytime. You're a celebrity everywhere on the planet Earth, and you're fucking miserable. Your children will want for nothing. Your grandchildren will want for nothing. and still you're a fucking miserable bitch. So, this is the reality of people some fucking really making choices and having to live with those choices. So, when somebody like Tom Brady, who never wants to quit football, he just wants to keep going back and he doesn't want to retire, probably just to get away from that fucking witch. It isn't even that he might not even love football that much, but I'll bet you being on the team and all the politics of football is so much easier to deal with than dealing with that fucking nightmare at fucking up. Can you imagine having to fucking lay your fucking head on a pillow every fucking night next to a fucking bitch like that? Holy fucking Christ. Meanwhile, you go out of your fucking house, everyone treats you like a fucking king, and she's like, Tom Brady, like this guy's got to think like how fucking, what kind of a mistake he made. So everybody makes mistakes. Your genius guys make mistakes. Your academics make mistakes. You make different mistakes, but you make mistakes. And some of them, people would rather live with the mistake than suffer the consequence of getting out of it. Like if Tom Brady divorces this woman, I don't know how many kids they got, but this is a woman who will be worth $200 million. She never threw a touchdown pass in her life. She never had a 265-pound linebacker that's pure muscle and fucking and testosterone try to flatten you into the fucking earth, for an hour every fucking Sunday, since you were 20 years old, right? But she'll make $200 million, and then Tom Brady will be just a lonely divorced guy. So you can things can be fucked up in a lot of different ways, and a lot of times the people at the top have to make their own fucking problems. They make their own fucking. They make their own fucking disaster. So when you hear these guys go, I love to go to work, man. Oh, I love my job. I love my career. They're probably running from a witch like that. And probably in all likelihood, running from a fucking witch like that. That's what they got at home. That is what they have at home. But money does weird things, Money does very, very, very weird things. And then there are people. The power of milkies is a very real power. How it's used by governments. I'll show you. This is, of course, once again, we're talking about our friends who enjoy gefilte fish. Our gefilte fish consuming friends. I saw this on Twitter and I was like, what the fuck? But then I realized it's that natural gas pipeline going from fucking Cyprus through Greece into fucking Europe that sadly has Israel connected to it. What you're looking at is a picture of a blonde woman named Brandy Love. She is, you'll be surprised, film star. And she is visiting. She's visiting Greece. She's in Athens, and she wants to thank the soldiers in Greece for, I don't know, whatever. This was August 10th. So, why they sent her to do what, I don't know. But yeah, so Europe, the European economy and its ability to use energy is about to change drastically, and they're going to have to choose between two horrors. You know what I mean? Giving all your wealth to Russia, you know what I mean, through Russian gas pipelines and being an enemy of America, or hop in bed with the small hats, and because the pipeline is going to go through Greece, all of a sudden, whatever, Greece is going to be on the receiving end of a bunch of shit that nobody really needs. Chris Olton, who would win in a fight, the power of Milkies or rice and beans Hitler? Well, you know what? That's a good question. Hitler never married Eva Braun, right? And we don't know whatever happened to her, by the way. Did he shoot her too? I don't remember what he did or he didn't. But it depends on where you are in life. You know what I mean? When you're as I used to say, young, dumb, and full of cum, Milkies are supreme, like fucking supreme. For me, I'm already in my mid 50s, man. It's like I've had that. I when I was younger, was I a fucking doormat? Absolutely. Fucking women walk all over me, fucking twist me around their fucking finger. Like I've been there, done that. They're fucking horrible people. They were good looking women. They were horrible human beings. And I managed to get through that without whatever lifelong entanglement. So that makes me lucky in some ways, unlucky in other ways. Um, but yeah, that's the the power of milkies. You know what I mean? The power of fucking hormones overcomes everything, and it always has. It always has. Right? You know. So to go back to our little princess here. You know. There's a reason why they send them. You know what I mean? Helen of Troy. You know what I mean? Like the whole idea of the Trojan War, right? Uh, there's men will do all sorts of things. We'll go to war and all kinds of stuff. That's these lessons are have to be relearned again and again and again. Final round: Milkies versus central banks. That's interesting. I would say Bitcoin. The answer is outside that little box because the central bankers aren't really interested that much in Milky's. Although I don't know, they got a couple of women working for them, right? They got Christiane Lagarde and a few others. But you know, the reason why central banks exist and guys go into debt is so they can spend $10,000 on a tiny little rock dug out of the ground by an African slave for pennies a day, sent to Asia, cut and polished by an Asian slave who works for pennies an hour. You know what I mean? And then shipped to New York or Los Angeles and stuck in a display, in front of a store and sold to you for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So, and that's the central bankers, right? They take something that's, as common as fucking pebbles on the fucking beach, and they manage through magic. Boy, it's magic. You got to have one of these, and to show that you really love that beautiful girl, who we're going to convince is oppressed by making you dinner and having you kids. And we're going to convince her she's oppressed, and we're going to change the law so she can divorce you. Then she's going to divorce you, take all your money, keep the fucking house, kick you out, and hopefully get a boyfriend named Jamal. You know, so and then they're going to strip all your wealth away. So who's going to win? Bitcoin's going to win. Bitcoin is going to win. The New York Times can't stop us. The little fucking anti-ma faggots, like the real world Antifa, right? The reason why the central bankers use communists is because they're angry fucking destroyers. They're miserable fuck. They want to destroy what everyone else has that they perceive as having that they should have. So envy, right? Envy drives their behavior, and they're willing to break the law, to do all sorts of stuff. Some central bankers use them to pardon me, to burn cities and and frighten people and extract value, drive the price of things down so they can go in and scoop that shit up, pennies on the dollar, and then when the police and everything push them away and everything settles down, the small hats bought everything, like I said, for pennies on the dollar, and they're going to drive prices up through the roof. Average rent in fucking New York City, $5,000 a month. Average rent in Austin, Texas, $3,000 a month. Who can pay that? How many people can pay that? But whatever you can pay, they're going to squeeze. They're going to squeeze everything out of you until there's nothing left. And it all blows up in your face. So since we know they're going to do this one way or another, opt out. Just opt out. Why I don't get, like, there's gold bugs. There's people like, oh, it's the Bitcoin's crap, and you should buy gold or silver or whatever. I disagree with that on 100 different levels, but at least they understand. They see the world the same problems I see. We don't disagree on what the problems are. We just disagree on what the solution is. And although some people are like, I don't know what the solution is, so I'm going to go everywhere all at once. And but things go more our way than our way. And, their way. Where is it? Here it is. I think it was about 5 years ago. 5 years ago, BlackRock, the CEO of BlackRock, which I don't know if it was Larry Fink back then, but the CEO of BlackRock referred to the price of Bitcoin as the index of money laundering, right? Back when Bitcoin was for drug dealers and terrorists and money launderers, right? That was the FUD back then. Here's a story from August 4th, 2022. The world's largest asset manager is syncing its investment management platform with Coinbase Prime. So, and then underneath it says BlackRock to offer institutional clients crypto via Coinbase. So 5 years ago, BlackRock said Bitcoin was the index of money laundering, right? I mean, you can't shit on it harder than that, implying that everyone in Bitcoin is a crook. And now, 5 years later, they're offering their institutional clients a special, concierge level service to get into Bitcoin. So, and that's how far Bitcoin's come in 5 years. Gold, the only thing we know about gold, literally double the supply. In Uganda, they found a supply of gold in the ground that's worth $12 trillion, effectively doubling the amount of gold on the planet Earth. Nobody knew it was there, but now they do. And once they get it all out, the price of gold will inevitably drop. So BlackRock has not only had to eat its words of the index of money laundering, but now they have to craft some sort of service that they're going to give to their high-end clients who are going to ask to get into Bitcoin. And the reason why they're going to get asked to get into Bitcoin first is because Bitcoin has the most regulatory clarity. All of these people, as different people have pointed out, they're not super smart. They're not really hardworking. They're just rich, and they want to stay rich. And part of what they want is certainty. You know what I mean? A lot of the reason why people don't like Bitcoin because it seems uncertain, the price is volatile, blah, 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 blah. And there are other things that are more certain and less risky to you. The problem is once the risk is gone, once the volatility is gone, the price of Bitcoin is going to be extraordinarily high, and you will not get nearly as much for it as you will now. However, the reason why BlackRock is using Coinbase and providing Bitcoin to its high-end clients is because of the things that have been regulated by the U.S. government. The Bitcoin regulations, the clarity on Bitcoin, how the IRS recognizes it as digital property and blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff being in place gives these wealthy people who are looking for a return, who don't want to see inflation eat up their fucking millions, and they're looking for something new, not real estate, not stocks, whatever. What is this Bitcoin thing? Is it safe? The answer has to be yes before they start dumping money into it. And when they're sufficiently satisfied that it's safe, they're going to dump unthinkable amounts of money into it, and therefore the price will go to. We will go to the moon. We will go beyond the moon. So that's what's going to happen. Gold in the last 5 years hasn't. The price is largely unchanged. People say, well, you can't use Bitcoin I can't use Bitcoin at the supermarket. You can't use fucking gold coins at the supermarket either. You know what I mean? So what the fuck? It's not like that's not a terribly good argument. You know what I mean? Your arguments are not nearly as good as you think. Well, I can't go to the gun store and buy guns with Bitcoin. Well, you can't go to the gun store with a fucking silver ingot and buy fucking guns. You know what I mean? Like you go, here's a fucking brick of silver. Give me 2 AR-15s and red dots to go with them. Like you can't do that, but that doesn't mean silver has no value. It's just not nearly as valuable as the silver people say. The ability to cross borders, the ability to send money instantly, anywhere or nearly instantly around the world and no one can stop you and no one can take it away from you. You don't have to take your fucking AK or AR into the bank and hold fucking hostages to get your own money, since that the Bitcoin solves all of those problems, all of those foreseeable problems. I said last week that engineering a solution is better than engineering a wall around your property is more effective than praying that your neighbor is too virtuous to steal. Right? Praying that where you live, oh please, please God, don't let fucking thieves, fall into temptation and steal my shit. Well, you could do that. You could spend a lot of time on that. Or you could build a wall around your property to make it difficult for thieves to steal your shit. Engineering solutions last longer, work 24/7, and have a higher degree of certainty to them. Okay, are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. Do they work all the time? No, but it increases your the cost of bad behavior. And when the price of bad behavior is high enough, that ends the bad behavior. That's the reality. So applying that thinking to money is what Bitcoiners do. And then I think a lot of people don't see that yet, because you have the limited number of ideas you're comfortable with, the Overton window of your mind, the concepts you're comfortable thinking about, what's possible, what's not possible, what may be at the very limits of possibility. That's okay. That's what you got. You know what I mean? For someone to go outside of that and like lunatic Bitcoin maxis like me and others, I mean, we look like crazy people to you. We have absolute certainty about stuff where the government's not guaranteeing it, and you think you people are fucking crazy. Well, perhaps we are, but Bitcoin is coming around to BlackRock is coming around to our way of thinking. You know what I mean? BlackRock didn't say, oh, Bitcoin is still the index of money laundering. They've changed their fucking tune. And someday you will change your tune. Like I said, I just encourage people to do it now when it's advantageous to you, then later when it's less advantageous. That's all. And that's why that's the case I'm trying to make. And if you could, by doing this, think a little bit differently about foreseeable problems and how you will manage them, how you will govern them, you might fix other areas in your life. You might not, but you might. That is the point. That is pretty much everything. So yeah, on the scale of bank robbers, Pretty Boy Floyd beats Joseph Stalin any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a position of desperation, and so set yourself up now so you can avoid that. You know what I mean? Set yourself up now so you won't be desperate. And then whatever. It doesn't mean life's going to be a dream, because you could end up you could buy enough Bitcoin to have $400 million, but you're married to Tom Brady's wife or Tom Brady's wife's sister, and you could be miserable as fuck with with whatever 100 Bitcoins. You know what I mean? Right? You could be sitting in a private jet going, Jesus fucking Christ, can I just push this woman out the fucking door? You know what I mean? Can we just crash that half of the plane? You know what I mean? You might end up there, but if you make some good choices, then maybe you can avoid that as well. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people I know are waiting for Rice and Beans Hitler to come to power and give them their government-issued girlfriend, and their six-figure fucking salary for doing a podcast on why the Jews suck. You know what I mean? I don't know why anybody would tell you what would pay you six figures to say that the Jews suck when I say the Jews suck every fucking week for free. Well, what is the fucking point? You know what I mean? I would just let them sponsor my fucking show. You know what I mean? Get me some bandwidth. Get me a new fucking laptop. Come on. Where's all this fucking right-wing authoritarian sponsorship? You know what I mean? Fund me, you motherfuckers. Anyway, so yes. Okay. Went to assassin school. Got the little thing. There's a bullet on there. Right? And then I don't need to Google how to be stealthy. You know what I mean? I will just gift you a pair of here's some earbuds. Here's some earbuds. What's your favorite music, bro? and then while you're bopping your head to K-pop, because let's face it, honestly, you're into K-pop or fucking reggaeton or some shit like that. I put you in front of a bus, and that's which I think is I think that's the final test for the DeVry University Assassins course. Is you have to push someone in front of a bus. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's illegal. Do not push people in front of buses. It's not going to solve any problems. It's not really going to solve problems. It's going to give you more problems than it is worth. Anyway, so now I'm out of water. I ran out of water. I mean, I fucking run out of alcohol. I run out of water. My voice is going. But anyway, we did like an hour and 15, hour and 12 minutes. So Chris Altman, Virgil Dog, Purple Heart, the 3 or 4 other people, the lurkers, the bots, the feds, everybody. Thanks for showing up. And I will talk to you guys again next week. Good night.